Hi, welcome to another tips and tricks video in Titan. What we're going to do in this one is go through some circle effects using the shape generator and also doing some key profile management. All right, let's jump straight into it. All right, so basically here I've got my small theatre set up. I'm just going to show you what I have in the rig at the moment. So let's just turn the visualizer around just so you can see. So basically what we're going to use are the 4 spots I have at the back shown here, and the 2 beams I have on some totems which are left and right of the stage. But first off, I'm just going to quickly run through how I made the timed flash key profile last time, and then also just show you how I edit and delete key profiles if you need to. We go to playback options, select the handle, and then go to handle here, and then key profile. What we need to do is we want to add a new key profile. So we're going to rename it here. I'm just going to call it Tim's Timed Flash 03 because I've got one in there already. On the Sapphire, there are 3 keys. On top of each fader playback, you have a flash grey and swap blue, and you also have a black key on the Sapphire console, but we're just using Titan Mobile, and obviously this is just a Titan 1 simulator at the moment. So what we want to do is we want to change the grey key to a timed flash, and then what I usually do is change the blue key to the flash button, so they just swap over. So we just basically select the grey key here, option key C, and then we just change it to time flash. Simple as that. Then we select the blue key, which is this one here, and then we select that from swap, and then we change that to flash. Once you've added all your key profiles, try and name them so they kind of make sense. If you end up having lots of unused key profiles, you can go into the system key, go into user settings, and then you can see the key profiles here. You can go into the key profiles, and then you can have these options to delete profile, edit profile, view profiles, etc., etc. So let's delete the one that we just made, which was Tim Time Flash 3, because I've already got it here. So we'll just get rid of that, and OK, and then that keeps everything clean and tidy, which is all very nice. Right, so let's go into what we were going to talk about today, which was circles in the pan and tilt effect. Well, let's just turn the visualizer back around so we can see it properly. So we're looking from the front view, so that will be this one. So this is basically looking from front of house towards the stage. So then let's use our spots. Now, what I've made is a few groups here. I've got the top 2 spots which are there. I've got here which are the bottom 2 spots, and then I've done a group for all the spots. Again, similar for the beams. I've just gone one group for the beams here because I've just got 2 beams. So I've just done one group of beams, which is basically the 2 beams on the totems. Now what I've done is I've made a new group with basically all my movers, which is the 4 spots and the 2 beams, put them in one group, edited the group layouts. So let's just have a quick look at group layouts. We just hit the group key, hit the group, and then you can go edit layout. And then this is the kind of rough layout that I've made to represent roughly how the lights are rigged on the stage. And then as you click each one, it shows up in the visualizer which lights these are, and they kind of match the lights on the rig. So that's always nice to do. Try and do that before you get too heavy in the programming, because then you can start to do clean shapes, and the programmer will always refer back to the group layout when you're doing things like directions from in to out, left to right, things like that. So that's kind of cool to do that first before you get too deep into it. At each group you can have a different layout. You can have a different fixture order in each group, again, which is something that you could pay attention to before you start getting heavily into programming. Again, this is just what I do. These are just tips and tricks from how I've learned how to do it. The software has many ways of doing various things. There's no right way or wrong way. It's just whatever it works for you. I just thought I'd make these videos to share what I found from a kind of fanboy perspective rather than a professional lighting designer. So just something I wanted to share. Right, so let's get into making some circle effects. So let's select all the movers. We're going to locate them, and then we're going to go into shapes and effects, and then we're going to go to shape generator, and then we're going to go to create pan and tilt circle. Can't be easier than that. So we want to start to dial these in a little bit. So what I usually do is I turn the size down to about 15. You can do it by the wheels, or you can just press and type in whatever you find easiest. I'm using, like I said, I'm using the Titan One simulator at the moment, so basically it's just easier to just type it in. Turn the speed right down. I'm going to do the speed to about, let's say, 8. So we're going to set the BPM to 8. So it basically gives it a little bit more subtle movement. Now that we've got the movement, we can start to mess with the spread, or we can go and just reverse a couple of fixtures to get a mirrored look. So one way of doing that, again, is you can select these fixtures by the fixture window, go into direction, reverse selected fixtures, and then you can kind of get a mirrored effect. Now, what you need to do then is go back to the groups, or what I found works for me. Go back to the group, select the group that you're working on, and then go into edit and then restart shapes. Let's try and go edit this spread. Okay, so as you can see, now we're getting a little bit more interesting with the pan and tilt, the circle effect, and we just have a spread of 2. We have 2 fixtures going in the opposite direction. So now we want to try and do the same with these 2 fixtures. So let's try and reversing this beam. So we're going to go to direction, go back to reverse selected fixture, and then we need to edit, restart shape. Okay, now you can see we're getting somewhere now. So we have kind of a nice searchlight movement. We can record, store that on a playback. Then we can add delays in, fade outs. We can add it on a time flash, and then we can go from there. So let's exit out of here, and I'll show you some that I've made earlier. I've recorded 3 movements here which have just the movement with no dimmer information. Now, what I've done, because I haven't recorded any positions, just to show you what can be done, is I've basically just added a tilt movement on this playback with a bit of dimmer information, and I've put it in mode 2. I've put a fade in of 2 seconds, fade out of 3 seconds, and then you can start to add the movement that you previously recorded onto that pan and tilt position, which again, if you're in a theatre situation, you might want the moving heads to be static, and then you might want to add some movement in. These are 3 playbacks that I made previously, and as you can see, they've got fade-ins, and they've basically fade in and out, and I have got a time flash on there. So I've got a fade in of 1.5 seconds, fade out of 2 seconds. So I've basically done different movements, and then as they fade out, I can start to add in a new one. This one needs to be adjusted. I think this is the playback that I added the key profile on, and I've since deleted it. So obviously these are now snapping into place. So if we go back to playback options, edit this, go into handle, add the Tim's time flash key profile, add it onto that playback, exit out of there, and now we should have the timed in. So basically the fade in times, fade out times, they're added in by the edit times function, or you can double click, bring up the information. I have changed the curve and then just fade in times, fade out times. You can do it from this window, or you can do it from the soft keys. There's no right or wrong way, whatever you find suitable. Again, so these are the movements that you can create. You can fade them in, and again fade them out. Another option you can do is, once you've got these movements together, if you've got limited space like I have on the Titan Mobile, you can make a cue list. So now what I've done is basically I've just done a quick record. I'll go into more about cue lists in another video, but I've just done a quick record and then added these 3 playbacks into this cue list, and then I can just go through the movements in the cue list just to give some variety. And again, when you're finished, you have 2 options. You can either stop the cue, and then you can slowly bring this down, and then the lights kind of slowly disappear. Again, just a few options for the circle effects. I hope you found it useful. Feel free to share this video. A thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.